Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is Ken.
Back.
Ken is from just north of Twin Cities, Minnesota, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we've been working on a 117 for Ken. It's a bit of a special design. I mean, he doesn't weigh 300 pounds, and you do carry a passenger, but you're not a stranger to riding, right? So your riding style, kind of fill us in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we do, with the club rides, we do a lot of cross-country stuff, but we like just to kind of go through mountainsides, rip on it. You know, we like beating up on each other a little bit, getting some speed in there, throwing into the curves, and things like that, too. So it's a little bit of both. We do some long touring, but it's a lot of fun riding, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, you don't mind, because you guys are going to get to see, you know, I did a video not too long ago on crank lightning. But again, there's a lot of factors that come into this. His riding style, as he just said, it's suitable for him. You know, he's not just touring. So we want a little bit of a hot rod. You wanted the bike to feel like you had a quick response to your input and things like that, right?
Absolutely.
So you were on a plane, or in the airport to get on a plane at what time this morning?
Well, the original idea was I was going to be on a plane at 4:20 in this morning, and then you know, the laws of nature happened, and 5.5 hour delay later, we got on a plane, and then delays at the car rental shop, and we're finally here. But
finally here, I took my watch off
at about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be here at about 10:30 this morning.
Yeah, so he flew all the way in this morning to watch his build to go together and actually get his hands in it. You're not a stranger to wrenching, and you do some wrenching now.
Yep.
Right? So he's going to be doing a lot more of the wrench turning than you saw maybe in Mark's video, for example. So your purpose here is to see the finite details of your engine build go together, and tips and tricks, and kind of learn some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, there's nothing more engaging and fulfilling to be able to see exactly what's going into your motor. When you're going down the road, cruising at 90, you know, kicking at RPM, you know exactly what's happening in that motor. It's yeah, it just, you feel it in your heart at the same time. So
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. All right, guys, we're just gonna let the camera roll, and we'll get started. Now, what's the build specs? Basically, it's a 117. Your bike is a 2013 Street Glide. It's a 117 4 3/8 stroke, 4 1/8 bore. We're gonna go gear drive. Of course, we're using the Dark Horse crank. I have already done the Timken bearing conversion. I've already done his heads. Our cylinders are ready. Everything's ready to go. So we're starting from the case and going up, and we'll let it roll. You always want to use the exact bearing set. You never want to mix up. They're all honed together. Sure. So your races and everything else, right? And you always want to use the bearings that you intend to go to the case. So, and I do them dry. There's a 107. Let's try that one. Drop your spacer in.
That's basically within your spec then.
You're within spec. But what I want to do, I want to measure that one and see if I can find one a half a thou smaller. Perfect. That's what we want. Let's try that. But
Nice. Money.
it's on the money. It's perfect. Nailed it, Daddy-o. So, like right here, you know, clearancing all that out, radiusing all that, getting rid of all the sharp edges and stuff. And then we run the through bolt through that. And it really makes that case strong. Some of the older cases, you gotta be mindful of it, because some of the older cases you had O-rings on
sure.
the case halves. It was 07 they stopped doing that. Alright. And we're gonna let it sit for just a few minutes, only because you'll watch it flow. It'll kind of level off.
How much working time do you have with that?
Oh, you got it. It's kind of a non-hardening type stuff. It
Okay.
will eventually harden, but I mean, you've got 15-20 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Give or take. But So I'm kind of methodical on the steps. All right. One of the reasons I do the cam chest next is that it gives this time to set a little bit. All right. And when it sets, if you wait too long, it's almost impossible to get off. But if you kind of catch it at just the right time, you can get in here, and we're going to get in here with a long coat hanger with a little tiny hook on it. And we're going to grab just the end of this, whatever sealer that squeezes into the case, hook it around that coat hanger, and it's going to peel right off the case.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, hit it at just the right time. Got your rods right there. And you're going to have dowel pins, so get your hand out from in there. There you go. That's a tight bearing clearance, but it should wiggle on there pretty easy. There you go. All right, now watch your fingers, because every time you touch that sealer, it's going to leave fingerprints everywhere. All we're going to do is, we want to do it with it like this, so that we can just, at least get them in and get them snug. Then we can flip the case.
Okay.
All right. So I run them in like that. And you have to pay attention, because obviously you're looking at this kind of backwards. Mm-hmm. All right. I get to play the nut and bolt assistant. So getting married.
Yeah. We've officially been together since 2011, so. Something that I think would be really cool, because probably the average Joe can't appreciate how smooth that is. Just have like a stock motor next to that thing, and you can feel it's like. So is that a grade 8 or what? What's? Mm-hmm.
It's been a quiet day around here today.
Yeah, they're been far between.
So what we're going to do for the rest of this, most of the time, you can grab it. It hasn't quite set up good enough yet. You'll be able to grab it and just peel it away. So we're just going to let it sit. Once it dries, it's any white that's left behind, brake cleaner will take it right off. But most of the time you can take it, and even anything, just a nylon brush, and just go and stuff will come right off like that.
All good?
Yep.
So do you seat them on, and then do you put any Loctite or anything on these bad boys?
Not yet, because we may end up having to take it back off.
Sure.
So we're looking at gear alignment. There's one thing we're looking at. We want to make sure they're dead center. You're going to be between a half and one right there. In other words, you definitely don't want to be less than a half. So it's okay to be a little bigger than you're small. But anyway.